Driving around an industrial district of Moscow offers views of a lot of things. Ladas, gopniks, and the like. But the thing I didn't expect to see was a 300,000 square meter Russian Disneyland right in the center of it all. Looks like stolen money. Dream Island is the largest theme park in Russia, and it only opened 2 years ago. The construction of this monstrosity is estimated to be $1.5 billion. So for the measly price of $40 for 2 tickets, I decided to take my Muscovite traveling companion as a thank you for helping me travel all over Russia to see what the Russian Disneyland has to offer. If you want to get there by metro, you can. It takes about a 30-minute walk to get there, but we had access to a car, and I promise you that there will be more parking than will ever actually be used. Once you're inside, your expectations basically drop to below ground level until you hit the escalator. Then prepare yourselves. It gets pretty sick from here. This giant area isn't even the park. This is sort of like the Mall of America, where there's a giant mall and then inside of it there's actually a giant park that you can ride rides in. So this front section is actually free to go to, and you can shop and eat and explore. It even has a gaming area, and it doesn't cost anything. I also found out that this section had the largest glass dome in Europe. I don't know why I think that's cool, but that's kind of cool. The mall part is divided into different capital cities, from England to Rome to Spain, with even buildings being inspired by Gaudi, and of course, Moscow.
This Friday?
Didn't think about it. This Friday? No. Didn't think about it. I didn't know we were in Beverly Hills. Finally, I'm back home. Sure, you could spend a few hours walking around the 9 districts that make up the mall. But since most of these stores are still being filled up since this is newly constructed, I frankly advise you go further in. All the way at the back is the entrance to the Dream Island amusement park, which is almost cartoonish in style, so when you feel like you stepped into some weird 90s cartoon, you made it. I tried to show the scale in the video, but it's just too big. You can see it compared to my friend. So I pretty quickly gave up trying to show you how big the entrance was and decided to show you how freaking big the inside is. I don't know if this is the largest indoor theme park in the world, but it feels like it. It's covered with giant lights and everything is very well lit up except for the parts of the park that are meant to be dark. So even in winter, this place is able to operate. It's warm and cozy. You can even dress like it's summer inside. Everywhere we looked, there were happy families, kids just having the time of their lives, and the smell of very delicious, affordable food and beverages from all over the world. The inside park is also comprised of 9 districts. Each one is themed to a different licensed property of the park. There's the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mowgli and Dinosaur Land, Hello Kitty, and yes, that's that, Hello Kitty, Hotel Transylvania, and even the Smurfs for some reason. On top of those primary segments, there are some original Russian segments, the Ice Queen's Kingdom, Pinocchio's Workshop, VR Racers, and the Haunted Manor. And we're gonna see every part of this park in this video, but our first stop was the one that attracted us the most. That is the Ninja Turtles New York City themed park. This park was probably one of the cooler areas of Dream Island in my opinion, because it had that full immersion feeling you get at the higher end theme parks. Also because it's Ninja Turtles, and you know, what's not to like about Ninja Turtles? Our first ride was the Subway roller coaster, which is actually the largest roller coaster in the park. And I think it's actually really the only true roller coaster there is. And frankly, it goes so fast and so jerky and up in the air and down that it would 100% break my camera or my mount. So I couldn't film it inside, but you could enjoy the beautiful sewer ambiance that they make you wait in at least for 30 minutes, because this was probably the longest line in the entire park. The other ride in this area is Baxter Stockman's Hammer of Doom. Now, when you walk into these rides, there's always a height minimum, which makes sense. But we encountered something that a tall person like myself did not expect. There was a height limit.
2 centimeters more. We will say you're 185.
This ride had a little bit less of a line. It was maybe 10 minutes of waiting, but it was so fun that it's one of the only ones that my friend and I rode twice today. And yes, I had to kind of slouch so they wouldn't think I was too tall to ride. Once you finish the rides, you don't even need to rush out of Old New York. There's several New York restaurants. It has its own Chinatown that is oddly more Japanese inspired with its food and clothes than Chinese. There's an Italian and a pizza restaurant, as well as a churro truck. And we got a churro and a couple of Cokes for a couple bucks. So I think the food in this park is actually a pretty good deal. Once we left New York, we were transported to the Smurf Village, which we didn't spend a ton of time in because it's mainly for kids. You can explore the evil tower of Gargamel, which I believe inside is actually a ride, as well as Papa and Smurfette's homes, which is pretty cool. Smurf Village. Oh, Papa Smurf, you sold out to capitalism. It's a gift shop. That's not Papa Smurf's house. The Smurf Village is right in the middle of the entire complex, so it's often a lot easier to cross the Smurf Village than it is to walk around to our next ride, the VR Racers. This is the first ride where we had no idea who these characters are, and it's kind of odd because they even sell merch for these characters there, but nobody knows who they are. They don't really exist. They're not a TV show or a book. Regardless, the line wasn't too long. It was also about 10 minutes, and the ride itself was really fun. Just that long. It's very immersive, it's sorta long, it's about 2 minutes, but I do want to warn anyone with fickle necks. This thing will jerk the hell out of you. It'll just throw you around, and we actually got hurt on the drop section, like physically hurt, so you've been warned. The next children's area, we didn't really spend a lot of time in, but it was still cool to see. It was the Fantasyland, which is based on Pinocchio, or at least the Russian equivalent story, Buratino. It's again mostly for kids, but you can walk through Geppetto's workshop and it's, you know, it's kind of cool. But since it's not meant for adults, we pretty quickly moved on to the next adult area, Mowgli in Dino Land. Oh, this is actually pretty sweet. Wow, not bad. This is great. Oh, he moved. Oh, wow. Not bad, dude. This park was probably my favorite aesthetically, and its Amazonian and Lost World themes I just absolutely loved. The animatronics seem at the same time expensive and cheap, which is kind of cool. And the decorations for the plants and everything around it looks pretty fake, but like in a local mini golf course kind of way, so there's like charm to it. The main rides everyone here uses is the Cobra. This is kind of the first big spinny half pipe ride. It was actually a lot of fun and the wait was less than 10 minutes. Wow! no, she found the raptors. Yeah, this is clearly meant to be Jurassic Park. Yeah, this just seems like they couldn't get the rights to Jurassic Park. But that's okay, it's pretty cool. Then there's this ride that is sort of a lift up and spin you around type of thing. If you've ever seen that South Park episode where they had the John Denver experience, picture that. Then there's the Flight School, which is probably the second most popular ride in the area. And it's one of those flying simulators where it's not fast, but it is kind of cool to feel like you're flying and spinning around a full 360 degrees. I enjoyed it, and the wait was maybe 15 minutes. Then it was a short walk from something we got surprised at seeing in passing. There's a Hello Kitty Kingdom here, and in fact, it was having a show just then.
Давайте это сделаем.
Это так здорово!
So with all of the rest of the Hello Kitty rides being closed for the day, we moved on to the Ice Queen's Kingdom down the road. And this one just blatantly feels like they wanted to get a license from Frozen and it just fell through. Well, I know these faces. And I know those. The cool thing though is it has probably the best mirror maze I've ever personally been in. This is bad. Yes, little kids, help. Look. Okay, these little child face, their faces getting smashed. And so this will guide our way. Learn from their mistakes.
Did you film
Oh, it's on here. What? Nice, that helps us. Well, at least that's legit.
No!
This is so much. Oh, do we hit a dead end?
No!
Oh my gosh. I'm dressed like such a douche.
Shit. Oh no!
Oh, there's the real one. This might be it.
Are you serious?
No, is this a dead end?
Yes.
Oh, we defeated the Ice Queen. Yes. We made it. Hello. Oh, they replaced the... Nice. Well, the Queen is no longer here. Or she is. She's standing by. Oh. The final place is just a horror house. It's right at the beginning of the park, which is basically just a giant circle. And it did scare my friend, but it seemed like the lowest end haunted house from America. If you've ever been to a haunted house in the US, this feels like that, but the most budget. There's not a lot left once you finish there, so we left for the next area, which was much darker than the rest of the park, and that's because it's Hotel Transylvania. That's right, the Adam Sandler's Hotel Transylvania licensed their thing for this Russian theme park. There's 2 themed restaurants, although we didn't check any of them out, and the ride itself had 0 wait. As a bonus, it probably had the coolest interior of any of the places in the entire park. Just like Disney, this was probably the most immersive of all the experiences they had.
Oh no, it's not.
Так, Денис, еще. Добро пожаловать в отель Трансильвания. Посмотрите, пожалуйста, на
направо. Здесь вы можете наблюдать картину, которая... Мы отправляемся в самое сердце отеля Трансильвания.
Мне кажется, мы не вниз. Наверх.
Что, опять? А ну давай работай, колымага старый, у нас тут, между прочим, гости. А люди не каждый день к нам заходят.
Я тебя чувствую.
Все в порядке. Не беспокойтесь.
This is also one of the only places I was able to film during the ride, so if you've lasted this long, hey, thank you. It's pretty jarring with both how somehow cheap and expensive it feels at the same time. This park gave us both such a shock since we knew a lot of the controversy that happened when it opened. We were honestly not expecting very much, but as someone who has been to Disney parks around the world, I wouldn't call this a competitor per se. Frankly, if you called this a theme park, I would say it's near the lower echelon. But if you marketed it like a Mall of America, for instance, which Mall of America is actually really cool, I would say it actually beats the hell out of Mall of America. So if you're in Moscow for any length of time, you finished all the regular touristy stuff, and now you're going a little bit outside of that, this makes for an incredibly worthy and frankly a super fun stop. You could spend an entire day here. And we did, and we didn't regret it. And that's enough for now. Love hard, love deep, and I'll see you all next week. Bye-bye.